Hi, welcome. It's Margaret Secondat, and welcome to my channel again. So today we're going to touch on the subject of apartment buildings specifically, and the 5 things that you have to watch out for, specifically in terms of the features. So when you're out there looking for your next apartment, you'll know what to look out for. Okay, so these are 5 features that you can see visibly, and when you're out there inspecting the apartment buildings. And in this particular video, I will just support this with some slides to give you more of a visual of what I'm referring to. Okay, so let's get started. So choosing your apartment building. Okay, what are the 5 features that you have to watch out for? Okay, first is, of course, the stability of the building. Now, if there's no support, then there's no stability. So you have to watch for the foundation and basically the lower part of the building, of your apartment building. So let's take some more slides and to show you what I mean. So there's no support, like you can see here from this arrows, okay, that the building here has no real support underneath it. Now, if you're going to be buying a building, well, if you're a businessman and you're buying a building, please don't build your building in such a way. Okay, so if you're also looking for an apartment unit, and these are the type of building, this is a building that you're looking at, if you really have to choose one in this building, then choose one that is not underneath this, that is not above this area, that has no support. Okay, so that's one thing. It's you want to have stability, so you want to have support. Another type of building, like in this, you can see that there's no support underneath. There's also the more popular one that you can actually see. It's in this next slide. Sometimes we see buildings such as this, wherein there are pillars underneath. I mean, the ground floor is actually, made up of, let's put it this way, made up of, pillars. And the one thing that you actually have to be aware of is, please don't get something that has a garage. So it's a ground floor parking garage. Okay, because as you can see, these are just pillars holding up the whole foundation and the whole structure of the apartment buildings or the units that are upstairs. Okay, so the ground floor parking, when you have something like this, it doesn't really have support, it doesn't really have any stability, such as this one as well. So this is the ground level. We're not talking about the basement parking. Okay, we're talking about the ground level parking, the garages that are on the ground, like the street level ground floor parking that's holding up the whole building. Okay, so such as this, as you can see the entrance, the exit and entrance, and it's on the street level. So this is one feature that you have to be on the lookout for. Okay, another feature is you want to avoid Sha Tai. Okay, so if you're living close to train tracks or highways, this is what you have to be aware of. If you're on the same level as these tracks and these highways, then you're getting most of the Sha Tai, the negative energy that's being emanated and directed at you or at your apartment unit. Okay, so roads or train tracks. Having a highway or train track near your house or apartment unit will be taking the chi energy also away from you. You'd also feel not motivated and tired. So if you're on the higher floors, around 4 to 5 levels above these tracks or roads, then it might minimize the negative energies that's affecting your particular unit or your property. Okay, so again, road such as this, like we see a lot of this, where in the roads, the highways, the elevated highways are actually at the same level as some of the apartment units or condominium units that you see. A lot of times the ground floor might not be a problem, as we usually don't have apartment units on the ground floor. You usually see store rentals or store units. But the bridges and the highways raised above the ground is, of course, of real concern. So, and it's bad, and we should watch out for these negative energies that will come from it, okay? So again, the tracks also might move the energy away from you, so you also might not benefit from it as well. Aside from that, if you have roads that are actually like this, it's like an oncoming chi coming at you. So you're not inside the circle, you're actually outside the circle of that track thingy. So, again, it might hinder your motivation, carrying away the chi away from you. Also at the same time, hurling some of the negative energies at you too. Okay, so you also have to be on the lookout for not just the negative energies from the tracks and the highways. You also have to be aware of the sachi directed at your unit. Let's say you're in an apartment building and you look out your window or your balcony and you see a structure coming at you, particularly something like this, a triangular shape, or some of the other units, other apartment buildings edges that's actually, directly aimed at your particular window, balcony, or unit. Okay, so it's not only this, you also have to be aware of some of the roof tops and other types of poison arrows from roof buildings and the outside environment. Okay, so you also sometimes we're so close to each other, and some of this sachi can come from the other apartment buildings that's close by, and to the point that sometimes it can block the chi. And so the distance from building to building must be at least around 500 feet and more to be able to, for each of these owners or apartment units to actually benefit from some sort of positive chi. Okay, so sharp edges pointing at our bright hole or the chi mouth, and usually when you're in an apartment building, we consider the balcony to be, a bright hole or a chi mouth as well. So, you have to kind of watch out for that. Okay. Now, what is another feature that you have to actually be on the lookout for is something that can cause a wind tunnel. So it's a wind tunnel gap, like you can see here from this picture. If you're living in that building that's in the circle, then, and there's two apartment, and these two big buildings are just on the front of you, and the wind or the energy that's gusting through these two buildings is aiming directly at your particular building. So the gap between these two buildings will cause the energy to be directed at your building to be not positive, but more or less negative. So the higher the buildings also, and the narrower the gap between the buildings, the deadlier the energy. Okay, so it's like when you walk between two houses, and you have you feel the strong current of the wind, let's say, when it's going through the passage or a laneway coming, or in a laneway, when you're walking on a laneway and you have the wind blowing there, you can feel it coming, really right at you. So it's the narrower the passageway, the narrower, and the energy, the wind gust is even stronger. It's sharper. Okay, so what else do we? Okay, so like I said earlier, the distance between the two buildings shouldn't be too close and too narrow, because it affects the energy that goes through it. So another slide is something like this. So whether you're in the building at the back, okay, or whether you're actually in the building in the front where the circular dome is. Both of these buildings are actually affected by the two buildings, the energy that's actually coming through the two buildings there. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, let me. So the energy coming that way to you, to that building, and the energy coming here. Both of these buildings are actually affected. This building and this building are affected by the energy that's coming from these two buildings here. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. Okay, so another thing that you have to another feature that you have to also to be aware of is some of the sharp edges. Like I said earlier, some of this sharp edges or negative energy, or what they call poison arrow, can be actually from other buildings. And so like in this one, this has more of a circular edge, so it's not as bad as something like this, where you have the triangle, the sharp edges. So if you're actually directed here, that's one. There's also no support from this area here. So hopefully, like if your offices are here, well, it's a little bit, it's a no-no. Okay, so it's better if you have units that are actually in this or in this instead of being in this particular section. Okay, so if you're going to be buying units, please don't buy units that have no support underneath them. Okay, so what else do we have to look out for? So number 4 is we don't want to be wedged between two tall buildings. So if you're if you're looking for a unit, an apartment, condominium apartment, please make sure that you come outside, look outside. The external environment is very, very important. So come out of look at the external feature before you even take a look at the internal feature. If the external feature, okay, this is very, very important. If the external feature does not have good feng shui, just forget it. Okay, just go next. In real estate, when we have how do you call this? When we have a building that doesn't suit, then we just pass it. We just go to the next one. Okay, so likewise the same here. If you're looking around for a house, for a condominium apartment, and when you look at the external environment and it doesn't really have any good feng shui, just forget it. Why? Because it doesn't matter if your internal has good feng shui, because you're never gonna have good feng shui, because there's no good feng shui from the external that actually can be harnessed into your particular unit or into your home. Okay, so don't go for a building that has that's actually squeezed in between two tall buildings. Okay, similarly to what you're seeing here in this slide. Same here, because there are quite a different size of building. Like this one probably is not as bad as this one, because it's actually smaller. This one is as high as the other one. So when you're looking for your next condominium apartment, just be on the lookout for this 4 feature. Okay, and then like this also, this is a smaller building. I think the top is right up to here only. So it's squeezed between this and this building. So it's really in a tight squeeze. So the energy here won't be that great. Okay. So if what you have here is a business enterprise, it will also not be benefiting by being in such a location. Okay. So avoid being squeezed by these 2 buildings. Okay, and so what's the next one that you have to look out for? Is water on the rooftop. Okay, so there are some apartment buildings or condominium buildings that have swimming pools on the top. So it's like having water over your head, and water, as you very well know, is unstable. And even if you look at the swimming pool and you think that it's calm, it's not moving, it is still, there's something still rippling underneath, there's still current. So it's likened to an unstable energy on top of your head. So it's not a great idea. So if you are looking for an apartment building and you have a rooftop swimming pool, maybe you can skip it and find something else, find another, find another building that has no rooftop swimming pool, because as you can, it's again, it's unstable and it's not really such a great building to be in when you have an unstable energy on top of your head. You're living underneath it. Okay, so so what have we learned so far? So these are like, this picture will tell you a lot about this what we just went through, the 5 features that we just went through. Okay, stability is key. Okay, and we also have to be aware that there's no Sha Tai aiming at your building or your condominium apartment. Okay, so also the fact that you don't want, you don't want to be in the squeeze between 2 big building, like in a squeeze between 2. You also don't want to be in living in that particular building that has the wind tunnel directed at you. Okay, and also the last one is these are just 5 common features, 5 visible features that you can see. So the last one is all about the swimming pool above your head. So like in this photo, this two building is actually squeezing this smaller building right here. Okay, and so the energies here is not that great as well. Okay, so these are just some visuals that I would like to share with you, and I hope it helps you when you're out there looking for your next apartment building. Okay, so these are external features that you can just see from the outside. We're not even touching the internal condominium environment as well as yet. Okay, so I have also lined up some other workshops. I hope you like this video, and please subscribe to my channel. And when you do that, you can get instant notification, okay, of my all my future upcoming videos as well. And please check my website regularly. I am at this point updating the website, so I will be hopefully I will get all the new information into the website as soon as I can. Okay,